All right, drivers, your qualifier will begin on the tone. All right, this is race 41 or race 42. Should be 3 tech and 43 in tech. Burke in that top spot with a 4-2. Pablo 4-2. Simkowski 4-2. Nelson 4-3. Miller 4-2. Bourgeois 4-3. Zerneri 4-5. Burke 4-2. Simkowski 4-3. Pablo 4-3. Miller 4-2. Nelson 4-3. Bourgeois 4-3. Zerneri 4-2. Burke 4-2, Miller 4-3, Simkowski 4-4, Pablo 4-4, Nelson 4-3, Zerneri 4-3, and Bourgeois 4-3. 1 minute down, 3 to go. Burke still holding on that top spot, 4-3, Miller 4-3, Simkowski 4-3, Pablo 4-3, Nelson 4-3, Zerneri 4-5, Bourgeois 4-3. Minute 20 down, 2:40 to go. Burke 4-3, Miller 4-3, Simkowski 4-4, Nelson 4-4, Pablo 4-4, Zerneri 4-3, and Bourgeois 4-3 or 4-4. Minute and a half down, 2.5 to go. Burke still holding on that top spot, 4-4, Miller 4-3, Simkowski 4-4, Nelson 4-4, Pablo 4-3, Zerneri 4-4, Bourgeois 4-5. Try to pick up your leader here. That black and silver car, I believe. Yeah, through 1 and 2 now in the back straightaway. Randy Burke holding on that top spot, 4-4, Miller 4-4, Simkowski 4-4, Pablo 4-4, Nelson 4-4, Zerneri 4-4, Bourgeois 4-4. Minute 35 left to go, drivers. Burke 4-4, Miller 4-4, Pablo 4-4, Simkowski 4-5, Nelson 4-5, Zerneri 4-5, Bourgeois 4-5. .245 down, a minute 15 left to go. Burke 4-4, Miller 4-4, Pablo 4-4, Simkowski 4-6, Nelson 4-5, Zerneri 4-5, Bourgeois 4-6. As we are in the final minute, Randy Burke still in that top spot, 4-4 on a 55-401, Miller 4-4, 55-401, Pablo 4-4, 55-402, Simkowski 4-5, 55-403, Nelson 4-5, 55-404, Zerneri 4-5, 54-401, and Bourgeois 4-8, 53-4 flat. Can Burke run it deep into the run here? He's still on a TQ run with 30 seconds left to go. 4-5 for Burke, Miller 4-5, Pablo 4-5, Simkowski 4-5, Nelson 4-5, Zerneri 4-5, Bourgeois 4-9. 20 seconds left to go. Burke still on that TQ run. 4-5, Miller 4-5, Pablo 4-5, Simkowski 4-5, Nelson 4-5, Zerneri 4-8, Bourgeois 4-6. Less than 10, drivers. Less than 5. That's the clock. Keep going, keep going, keep going. And everybody's done. And on the last lap, Steve Miller takes that top spot. It goes 55-403, jumps up 11 spots to 4th on the grid. Randy Burke with a 55-403 jumps up 13 spots to 5th on the grid. Pablo 54